Good evening, everybody. We're from the Market Commanders. Today I'll be covering money management, risk management, as well as how to calculate your lot size. So today's ones are just going to be a little bit longer than what we did previously. So today we basically want to talk about, for now, let me start with money management. Then I'll go to risk management. Then from risk management, I'll then show you how to calculate your lot size, right? So let's assume that the strategy that we are using, it can produce 70% of your win and you may lose 30%, right? So basically it's 7 out of 10 trades we will win, we'll only lose 3 trades, right? But now money management, the importance of money management is this. Let's now round it off to 100 trades, right? Out of 100 trades, how many can we win and how many can we lose? Yes, you are right. So in that case, how much of our capital can we maintain if we go on a losing streak? Let's say, for argument's sake, 10. Let's say we lose 10 trades in a row. If we lose 10 trades in a row, do you think that you will still have capital? No. Yes. Okay, to some of you guys, if you say that you won't actually have capital, it means now your money management is quite poor, right? So what you need to do is try to implement good money management, and the good money management comes with knowing how much you are willing to risk per trade. All right, because now when you don't have good money management, let me tell you what happens. Fear and emotions will cripple you, right? For example, let's look at ninja traders. There's this thing called ninja trading. Ninja trading is basically when you add positions to a trade. For argument's sake, let's just say we're buying gold, right? Let's say we are using gold as an instrument that we want to buy. Let's say we buy 10 positions of gold. Now if we buy 10 positions of gold, how much of our capital are we actually putting at risk? How much percentage of our capital are we putting at risk? Quite a lot, isn't it? So now if you wanna do that, then you might as well just blow your account. You will blow your account eventually. Ninja trading is what happens. You blow your account over time. Over time your account will blow. Because let's look at now the drawdowns, right? Let's say, okay, fine, you have a winning streak of 15 trades, you're losing 5 trades, you're winning 30 trades, you're winning 10, you're losing 10 trades. What happens the day that you go on a losing streak? Because there is no perfect strategy there. The only thing that's perfect that you can do to perfect is money management and risk management. That's what you can perfect. Not your no strategy is perfect, right? Now I've seen ninja traders do what I just said. Buy open 10 positions on gold. All right, let's say they buy gold 10 times. If it goes against them, you open 10 trades. If it goes against you 10 times in a row, do you see that you will eventually lose all your capital? But should you have bought only once and you lose a trade, and you buy again and you win, you buy again, you win, you buy again, you win, you buy, you lose, you buy, you lose, it eventually you should still be able to have enough capital for you to trade. You should not be risking all your capital on one trade. Now I'm gonna look at the that's actually that's how people blow their accounts. That's how you start trading emotionally. You understand? Because you don't know how much you are risking you don't know how much of your capital is in the market. You don't know how much you are losing. That's why you end up looking at your laptop. You literally stand there, you are watching what's happening. You are watching price going up and down. You are sweating. It happens because of you are risking too much. You are not comfortable. Alright. So whenever you risk an amount that you are comfortable with. Risk an amount that you know, okay, even if you go wherever for 2 days and you come back and you find out you've lost $10, it's not really gonna hurt you. Because now you know how much you stand to lose and how much you stand to win. That's money management. If you don't know that, you are most likely gonna blow your account over time. Over time, you blow your account. Ask some ninja traders. They'll show you the wins, right? Let me tell you what happens. They can collect 20 pips and lose 60 pips. They'll collect 40 pips, lose 60 pips. Overall, it's gonna catch up with you. Your losses are gonna catch up with your wins in the long term. And when that happens, that's when now your account blows. You have no more capital left in your account. Why? Because of your wins, your losses have caught up with your winnings. Alright? To avoid all that, you must have good risk management and good money management. Now look at it from the point of a cheetah and a turtle. Right? It's a silly example. A cheetah and a turtle. A turtle can just walk slowly. A cheetah just sprints, right? Those are your ninja traders. They sprint. They take 20 pips. Nothing. No stop loss. They're showing you profits. Are they showing you losses? Ask any of them to show you the losses that they suffer. Ask them to show you the losses. The losses are major. The losses of a ninja trader they are unbelievable. 90% of traders lose 90% of their capital within 90 days. Why is that? It's because of poor money management and poor risk management. You guys should be able to trade comfortably. How? By knowing how much you stand to lose and how much you stand to win. Know your risk management. Right? I think I'm clear when it comes to money management. If I'm not clear, just tell me so that I can elaborate more on it. Then I will move on to risk management. Okay, so what I'm saying is the amount of trades you take. What are you comfortable with losing? How much of your account are you comfortable losing? $200, $400 on a trade. You have 500. Remember, bear in mind you have $500 in your account, right? So if you wanna put a trade and it goes to minus $200, are you not gonna panic? You will start to even do things that you're not supposed to do. Like you will close a winning trade. Why? Because of emotions crept in. Why? Because you risked too much. That's how. So you must be comfortable and say, okay, fine, here it is. Here's my trade. Let me rather lose $10. Are you gonna worry if you lose $10? Exactly. You're not gonna worry if you lose $10. Therefore, you won't even touch your trade when it goes into profit. You won't even touch your trade when it goes into a loss, because you know what you expect, what your chances are. You know what you're expecting from the trade. You understand? And you know how much capital you will have at the end of the day if you win or if you lose. A person who stands there and look at their charts going up and down, you must understand that person is risking too much. The minute you start doing that, you must understand you are risking too much, and it can turn a winning trade into a losing trade, one way or the other. It's either the market's gonna stop you out where it's supposed to stop you out, and you will say no, this thing doesn't work, or you will close the trade manually because of emotions that you've actually put in too much capital exposed onto the market that you can't even afford to lose, right? And what happens? You start playing a psychological game with yourself. You start playing a psychological game. You know, you want to remove it. Now it's in profit. The next moment it's in profit. You are happy. The next moment it's in a loss. You're upset. You know, it's playing. It's you end up closing it too early. You don't even leave your trade you don't give your trade enough room for it to mature, for it to mature, to get into good profits. That's the very same thing that happens with stop losses, but we want to get into stop losses later. All right, that's when people start putting the stop losses very close to very close. They don't give the stop loss enough room to maneuver. It's because of risking too much, putting too much money into the market, not knowing where your stop loss is. Now we wanna go into risk management. Time is not actually with us. Remember, you guys, I'm actually doing these things for you guys, so it's free things, so don't take my free time for granted. Risk management, okay, it's quite simple. Now, risk management goes to say with what it's actually hand in hand with money management, right? It goes hand in hand with money management. Now look at this. Remember earlier on when I said to you guys 2%, right, that you are willing to lose of $500, which is about $10, right? Now if you have a good risk management, right, meaning that you don't mind, you see that the 1 to 3 ratio, you don't mind losing $10 to gain $30, right? You don't mind to lose $10 to gain $30. Now that's your risk management. You are risking $10 to gain $30. Ninja traders don't do that. They go in, they all go in one trade, and the risk to reward ratio is not even that much. They're going, even if they can risk $10 to get $5, they are out. Why? Because of they'll have multiple trades for 20 pips, for 40 pips, and get out the market. But if it goes against them, that's when they hold trades. And how far can it go against you until you say, you know what, this is it. I can't take this. My account will blow. Your account will blow, my friend. Trust me. If you don't have a good risk management, your account you might as well kiss it. 90% of traders lose 90% of their capital within a space of 90 days. So it's a sad reality. It's because of people don't look at these things, risk management and money management. They neglect risk management and money management. Don't neglect those two. They are the most important things when it comes to trading. Anything else, your strategy, even if you have a strategy that wins 6 trades out of 10, if you have a good risk management and money management, you can still be a winner in trading. How? Okay, let me show you. Now, risk management. Remember, now we are risking $10 to gain $30, right? Now, if we happen to get a drawdown or a losing streak of 10 trades in a row, we will lose $100, right? Because we've risked $10 and we've had 10 negative trades, which will bring us to $100, right? Now, with the risk to reward ratio of 1:3, what do you think will happen if we win 10 trades in a row? we'll be risking $10, right, to gain $30. So basically it will be $300 that we will win. With one trade, right? If we're risking $10, we will actually get $30 with one trade. Now overall, over time actually, what happens is your account grows. Even if you lose, you are still growing. Why? Because of you have a good risk management. 1:2, 1:1, you don't take those trades. If you see those opportunities, it's fine, you can leave them. Why? Because of you have a solid risk management, and you have your own rules. You live by those rules of trading. You make your money management, you make your risk management, then you will be a winner. If you have those two, you will be a winner. You can lose 5 trades in a row and win 5 trades in a row. If you have a risk management of 1:3, you are still a winner. You lose $50, but how much are you gonna gain? You understand? How much are you gonna gain? 150. Your account is growing. It's not affecting you emotionally. So don't let trades affect you guys emotionally when you're trading. If you lose 10 times in a row, it happens to it can happen. It can happen. But those 10 times in a row should not blow your capital. Why? To give you another chance of the remaining 90 trades to take. 90 trades to take. So you must, that's risk management. How much you're willing to risk to gain. That's your risk management. Right? Now we're gonna get into how to calculate your lot size, your position sizing, right? So I would like to actually delete all these things here. Just give me a moment to delete these things. Right? Okay, now those things are deleted. Okay, what we will do now is what's the next thing? How to. Alright guys, we covered money management and the risk management. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to calculate your volume. Alright, it's quite simple, just requires a lot of focus. And this one, after all the steps are done, then we're gonna get into the easy part sometime next week, the strategy and like basics. All these things are just basics, guys. Alright, yeah, it's basics. Now we have, okay, step 1 is determining the risk. So we've already determined how much our balance is, right? We've determined that we have $500. We have $500 and we are willing to risk 2%. Alright, so that is our balance. That is our balance. Our balance is $500. So determining our risk, we want to risk 2% of that $500. Which is $10. We've already done the calculations for that one. If you don't know how to do the calculations for that, don't worry, it's fine. I'll assist you. What you have to do is on your calculator, just say 500 multiplied by 0.02, that's 2%. Now this will give us $10, right? That's how much you are willing to risk. 2% of this equals to $10. We wanna do this step, all of us, guys. So until we are actually gonna do 4 pairs. Alright, gonna do 2 sells and 2 buys. Now step 2 is determining pips. Hey. Okay, now we're on step 2. Step 2 will determine pips to stop loss. I just want to determine the amount of pips to our stop loss. Remember what we were talking about, the risk management, how much you are willing to lose. Now this is where it all boils down to this. Alright, you see how everything is connected. Now pips to stop loss is simple. Let's say now where do we enter a trade? Let's say we want to enter the trade there. Alright, our pips should be somewhere here. Our stop loss actually sorry, our stop loss will be somewhere here, and our entry will be somewhere here. Let's roughly say our entry is actually where price is right now. We want to sell, right? So what we have to do now is determine the stop loss, how many pips it will take for us to get stopped out and to be out of the trade with minimal losses, right? With $10 of loss. Alright, so now what we will have to do is, okay, to determine the amount of pips, what you have to say is we want to have to take our stop loss, which is somewhere here, and subtract it with our entry. Stop loss. You see that number there, guys? That's 0.9259. That's our stop loss. Alright, and our entry would be somewhere here. Right? Let's do this. Stop loss entry. The entry would be somewhere there, right? Somewhere there. So that number there. So it is said that we must stop loss to determine our pips to stop loss. What we have to do now is take our stop loss, the number of that value there. You see that price number there. We have to take that number, which is our stop loss number. Okay, we'll say stop loss number. Our stop loss subtracted by our entry. Sorry for that, guys. Let me just make it a bit clear for you guys. Pips to stop loss. Alright, so we have that variant there as the number, our stop loss number. Our stop loss number is 0.92509, right? So that number subtracted by our entry number, which would be 0.91 245. All right. Okay, now let's use our calculators. Okay, so one more thing, guys. Once you've gotten these two numbers, right, what you must now do is punch them on your calculator as a whole number, right? Punch them on your calculator as a whole number. So in this case, it will be we will have another example again. I think we'll use, let's look at this. Is 0.92.509 subtract 0.91 245. So we use that now. We will always write it like this. All right, we will always write it as a whole number. Now now we can use our calculators. 0.92.509 subtract 0.91 245, which will give us 1264. Alright, now that 1264, it's not in pips. Alright guys, it's in pipettes. It's in pipettes. It's in pipettes, yeah? It's not pips, it's pipettes. So to get pipettes to pips, we'll have to divide this number by 10. Yeah? So we have to divide that number by 10. Divide by 10 to get 2 pips. Yeah. Which will give us 126.4 pips. Yeah. So now we have 126.4 pips. 126.4 pips. See, that's step 2. Now we have the number of pips to our stop loss. Now that we have the number of pips to our stop loss, the next thing is now to determine our value per pip. Now we have to determine our value per pip. So that's step 3. Step 3. The value per pip. So which is quite easy now. We've already determined our risk. Now we've determined our the number of pips to our stop loss. Now step 3, must determine the value per pip. Alright, the value per pip okay. Now to determine the value per pip, what you must do is we must take our risk and divide our risk by our pips to stop loss. So it will be our risk, which is $10, right? Divided by it, right? So we'll use our calculator. Say $10 divided by 126. In this case, it will give us a long number, which is 0.0793 9365, and it's just a long number. So that's the important thing, is this, right? So once we've determined this, our value per pip, this is now our value per pip. This now becomes our value per pip. Now step 4 and the final step, actually, step 4 and the final step will be to determine our volume or lot size, right? Lot size, which is quite easy. Now to do this, you have to take the value per pip and divided by 10 all the time. Value per pip divided by 10. So this number divided by 10. Right, so it can be that long number again. So that's 0.079 and you divide it by 10, which will give you 0.0079365. So it doesn't really matter. Now you must round this number off. This number, now you round it off, right? When you round this number off, you will get your volume. If you round this number off, you'll get your volume of 0.01. There. Now there is your volume or your lot size. So now you will have to come here and say new order, right? That's how you place your trade. So you'll say volume with 0.01, right? And your stop loss will be there, 0.92509. Okay, there is your, and that's about it. Okay guys, now for the second pair, I think we will use GBP JPY. So already we know, okay, fine, let's say we want to sell here, and our stop loss we want it to be somewhere here, right? Now let's determine everything else. We know already we want to keep everything the same. Our risk, okay, the steps will be here. First of all, we know our balance is $500, right? We know our balance is $500. Now step 1 is to determine our risk. We did that before. We're risking 2%, so which is about $10. So 2% of 500, 2% of $500, which is $10. All right. Sorry. Step 1. Determine our risk. There you go. Which is done. Now we move into step 2. Remember step 2, guys, our pips to stop loss. Step 2, okay, let me do this, it's fine like this. Step 2, number of pips to stop loss. Alright, so remember our entry is here. Our entry would have been here. Our stop loss would have been there. Alright, our stop loss would have been there. So step 2, number of pips to stop loss. Next thing what you want to do is remember you want to write this thing as a whole number, right? Where your stop loss is, right? As a whole number. So in fact you want to say stop loss subtract your entry. Alright, then you want to write the number of the price number there, what, as a whole number, 147079, like that, right? Subtract 144213, like this. Alright, now let's get our calculators out. Now 147079 subtract, okay, gives us the answer 2866. But remember, this is pipettes. This is pipettes, right? So to get pipettes to pips, divide this by 10. Oh no. Alright, so always divide it by 10 to get pips. Always. That doesn't change. Alright guys, so there it is there. You divide that by 10 to get it into pips, which should give you about 286.6 if you divide by 10. Okay, let's do it together. 286 is divided by 10, which will give you 286.6. Alright, pips. Alright. Now step 2 is done. Alright, now we have pips. Understand? Now we are moving to step 3. Remember what I said step 3 was, guys? Yes, the value per pip. Step 3, which is the value per pip. Step 3 might be value okay. Step 3, value per pip, right? That's what your step 3 is. Step 3 is the value per pip, right? So to determine the value per pip, remember how much we are risking. We are risking $10, right? So you will say $10 divided by number of pips, right? In this case, the number of pips is 286.6, which will be 10 divided by 286.6. Alright, now let's get our calculators out and do the same thing. 10 divided by 286.6. Now this gives us 0.03 48 91 8 and whatever number it is. So that there we have that. That's our value per pip, right? That's our value per pip. Now we go to the last step, step 4, which is determining our volume, right? F4, which is now to determine the volume is very simple. Just have to take the value per pip our step 4 is going to be very simple. Take the value, that value per pip, and you divide it by 10, sorry. The value per pip, and you divide it by 10. In this case, we have this as our value per pip. Therefore, you'll divide it by 10. Let's do that. See what do we get. Zero comma 03 48 9 1 8 divided by 10, and we get this. So it's another 0.01. You understand? Another 0.01. That's our volume, and to punch it in, we have to come here where it says new order. Okay, once you have a new order, here we have our volume 0.01. Your stop loss, you'll enter there is your stop loss, right? And you'll just sell, given that you are entering here, not where price is now. Yes. Okay, now yes, the volume does change, guys. It don't always be 0.01. The only reason why it's 0.0 now is because of we are using higher time frames like our dailies. Let's go to our 30 minutes and do the same thing on our 30 minutes. You will see a totally different thing, right? This looks like kind of wow. All right, now let's remember the steps, right? Remember the steps, guys. This is the last one I'm doing, right? We will do other ones next week. Before we begin, we'll do the buy ones before we begin with, I think next week we'll cover support and resistance or Fibonacci. We will see yeah, I think we'll cover support and resistance. Yeah, support and resistance. We'll cover support and resistance next week. Alright, so our entry is here. Alright, entry. Let's say this is our stop loss. Remember, this is for beginners, right? This is basic things that you should know. Risk management, how to calculate your stop loss properly. These are things that you should know, you know. Just basics. So step one. Okay, here our balance is $500, right? So step one. Okay, I think it's better if I just do this step one. Right? Then determine our risk. Same thing every time. Determine our risk, right? Now our risk is 500. Okay, 2% of $500, which will equal to exactly $10. Right, now we have our risk. Step 2. Pips to stop loss. Right, guys? Determining our pips to stop loss, right? It's that simple. Then what do you want to do? Remember our entry. Oh, okay, everything is done already, so okay, it's fine. So our step 3 will be our stop loss subtract by our entry. In this case, we'll have, remember you write it as a whole number, right, guys? You don't want to put the points and whatever, just as a whole number. So in this case, instead of writing it as 143.256, you will write it as a whole number, right? So it will actually be 143.256, right? Subtract 142.785, like that. Yes. Then thereafter, get the answer there. What is it? 14, 32, 56. Subtract 14, 27, 25. You see, we have 471 pipettes. Alright, now to get this thing from pipettes to pips, you must divide by 10 all the time, guys. So you must divide it by 10 to get pips. So what will we have? We'll have 47.1 pips. Okay, if you do the calculation there, you should get 47.1 pips. Right, so you'll get 47.1 pips. See, now you're no longer in pipettes, you're in pips. Right, now step 4, your volume. No, your value per pip. Sorry guys. Okay, the balance is step 1, determine risk. Alright, 10 pips to stop loss. Step 2, yes. Now we are going to step 3. Alright, now we're going to step 3. Which is value per pip. Right, now we all know how to do that right now, right? We take the $10 value per pip, the value per pip changes. So it's going to be your risk divided by pips. Your risk divided by pips. So you have 47 pips there, right? And $10 as your risk. Right, so you have $10 there. $10 divided by 47 pips. Yeah. Alright, so what you will do is say 10 divided by 47. Now your value, it should be zero point 212.765, right? For arguments, yeah, let's just leave it there. Right, Now you have your value per pip. Now that's your value per pip, right? Now our next step, now that we have our value per pip, is to determine our lot size. This is the last step. Step 4. I think I'll just put it here because it's not so difficult. It's simple. The last step is the most simple step. Step 4. To determine our volume or lot size, right? That's our step 4. Now, for us to be able to do that, we have to take our value per pip and divide it by 10. That's it. Our value per pip and divide by 10. Like this, you will get your volume, and you'll see that it's not always 0.01. It's the time frame that you're trading, and yeah, that's it. The higher the time frame, the more money you will actually have to. But it's the same thing. All time frames, they will give you the same amount, the same volume. No, different volumes. Sorry, different time frames, different volumes, different setups. But we are not on setups yet, so we are only just doing basics. You understand, like how to calculate your risk, to determine your risk actually. So that value per pip divided by 10, right? So let's see how much it will give us. You see, now we have 0.02. You see, our volume, our lot size has just changed. Now our lot size or position size will be that volume or lot size will now become 0.02. Do you see that? So as long as you're doing this and your account is gonna grow, you understand, it's gonna grow. You don't have to do what other people are doing. Their accounts, they're growing fast and they die fast. Remember what I said earlier on, 90% of traders lose 90% of their capital within a space of 90 days. So don't be one of those 90% of traders that lose that much amount in such a short space of time.